The Eagles are 3 weeks from training camp, and the rumors are exploding. But one name has shocked everyone: TJ Watt. Could Philly actually trade away their young rising star Nolan Smith for a 30-year-old superstar edge rusher? Could Howie Roseman really pull the trigger on something this wild? Let's break it down, because this story could define the Eagles' future. Training camp is almost here. The Eagles are just a few weeks away from hitting the field again. But before the pads go on, the rumors are heating up in a way we haven't seen all summer. Right now, Philly is being linked to some wild names. One of them? A frustrated superstar. Another? A solid free agent still waiting for a team. But one rumor, one massive trade rumor, has fans arguing across the country. Could the Eagles actually trade for TJ Watt? Yes, that TJ Watt, the All-Pro Defensive Player of the Year sack machine from Pittsburgh. A man who wrecks offensive lines for a living. The rumor says Philly might call the Steelers and offer them Nolan Smith, their young, athletic, high-upside edge rusher, plus a late-round draft pick, in exchange for TJ Watt. And it's not just some random internet talk. This came straight from respected radio voices in both Pittsburgh and Philadelphia. They believe it could be real. That if Philly picked up the phone and made that offer, the Steelers might actually say yes. Let's just stop and take that in. Nolan Smith, a guy fans believe is about to explode, being traded before his second season. For a superstar who wants $40 million per year. At first, it sounds exciting, right? Watt and Reddick on the same defense. That's terrifying for offenses. But then reality hits hard. TJ Watt is already 30. He's skipping practices. He's pushing for a new massive contract. And meanwhile, the Steelers just handed out a huge raise to Jalen Ramsey, someone who's 30 and will make $26 million a year. Yet they haven't paid Watt. That's tension. That's why people think a trade might happen. But here's where it all falls apart for Philly. Even if the Eagles wanted Watt, they likely can't afford him. That $40 million per year would destroy the salary cap. Remember, they still have to pay Jalen Carter next offseason. They have other massive contracts already locked in, and extensions coming fast. Why would Philly trade a 23-year-old, cheap, and exploding talent like Nolan Smith for a pricey star nearing the end of his prime? It just doesn't add up. Yes, Watt is elite, but Smith is younger, cheaper, growing fast, and part of this team's future. Trading him now? That would be a wild, risky gamble. So, here's the truth. This rumor might be fun to talk about, but in the real world of contracts, locker room chemistry, and long-term planning, it makes no sense. Now it's your turn. If you were the GM, would you trade Nolan Smith and a draft pick for TJ Watt? Rate your confidence in the Eagles' decision-making right now from 1 to 10, and drop your takes in the comments. Let's see how the real fans feel. The TJ Watt dream might be over, but the Eagles could still bring back a Super Bowl warrior. And with young defenders already banged up, one familiar name might be exactly what Philly needs. Plus, a rising Eagles star deserves a major payday, and we just got huge news on his possible contract. Let's break it all down, because this could shape the defense for years to come. Alright, so let's be real, TJ Watt coming to Philly? Probably not gonna happen. The latest reports say the Steelers have no plans to trade him at all. That fantasy is dead. But that doesn't mean the Eagles are done making moves. In fact, there's a very real and very interesting move they could still make, and it would bring back a familiar face who helped them on their Super Bowl run in 2022. Linebacker Kazir White. Yeah, remember him? He played a solid role for the Eagles during that incredible 2022 season. He was fast, smart, and always around the ball. Now that he's a free agent again, some fans, and even analysts, are wondering, should Philly bring him back? One writer, Anthony Miller, made a strong case for it. He pointed out that the Eagles' linebacker room is looking shaky right now, especially with injuries to Nakobe Dean and Jair Brown. White wouldn't be expensive. He already knows the system, and he brings experience and chemistry to a defense full of young players. And look, if the Eagles are looking to add a cheap, veteran linebacker who could either provide solid depth or even start early in the season, Kazir White actually makes a lot of sense. This guy can tackle. He's shown it over and over. Just last season with the Cardinals, he racked up 137 tackles. That's not a fluke. In the 3 seasons before that, he put up 90, 110, and 144. He finds the football. He brings leadership. He was even team captain in Arizona the last 2 years. But here's the catch. There's a reason he's still unsigned. Coverage. In 2024, White had one of the worst pass coverage grades in the NFL, 32.0, ranking 174th out of 189 linebackers. That's a serious weakness, and the Eagles have to think hard about whether they can afford to take that risk. Still, if they're unsure about young guys like Jeremiah Trotter Jr. and Smail Mondon, and they just want a steady veteran who can help out, hit hard, and be a locker room leader, bringing back White wouldn't be a bad move. No, it's not a flashy headline. It won't make ESPN. But it's the kind of depth signing that could help a defense survive a long season. Let's shift gears. Because if there's one move the Eagles must make before this season gets rolling, it's this. Lock in Reed Blankenship. He's earned it. And I'm not the only one saying that. A new article from Kevin Knight breaks down what a contract extension could look like, and let me tell you, it's big. Knight believes Reed deserves premier safety money, maybe not quite as much as Panthers star Von Bell, who just got $17 million a year, but something very close. Because the truth is, even though Reed doesn't have a huge national name yet, his play speaks for itself. He's dependable. He's tough. He's everything Philly needs on the back end of that defense. So what's the projection? Knight says Reed could land a 3-year deal worth $45 million total, with $15 million per year and $22.5 million guaranteed. That would make him the 10th highest paid safety in the league. And honestly, that feels right. He's already a leader. He's already producing. He's only getting better. And if the Eagles want to keep building a championship defense, you pay the guys who show up every week and ball out. Reed has done that. So now it's your turn. Should the Eagles bring back Kazir White? Would you give Reed Blankenship a $45 million extension? Drop your takes in the comments right now and tell us how confident you feel about this linebacker group heading into training camp. So here's the deal with Reed Blankenship's contract talk. He could be looking at a 3-year, $45 million deal with $15 million per year and a $10 million signing bonus. That's not just decent money. That's top 10 safety money in the NFL. Now I want to know what you think. Is that too much for Reed? Too little? Or is it just right? Drop your thoughts in the comments. Don't hold back. As for me, I'm split. On one hand, I do think Reed has played well enough to earn $15 million a year. He's smart, he's physical, and he makes big plays when it matters. But I also wonder how the rest of the league sees him. He doesn't have a flashy name, and safeties don't always get paid what they're worth unless they're huge stars. So it wouldn't shock me if he ended up with a smaller deal. But here's the bottom line. The Eagles can't afford to wait too long. The earlier they lock him in, the cheaper it will be. Writer Kevin Knight said it best. If Reed plays out of his mind in 2025, his price tag could shoot up to $20 million per year. Imagine trying to pay that after watching him ball out all season. And honestly, it's not just about the money. It's about the future of this defense. Philly doesn't have a ton of proven depth at safety behind Reed. So building the secondary around him makes a lot of sense. He's just 26 years old. He hits hard, he reads plays fast, he communicates, and he's becoming a real leader on and off the field. If I'm the Eagles, I don't wait. I get this deal done before training camp, lock him in, reward him for his work, and make sure we keep a foundational piece for years to come. We're not done, because ESPN's Aaron Schatz just dropped an idea for every NFL team. And for the Eagles, he suggested this. Sign free agent wide receiver Tyler Boyd. Now, I get it. The reasoning was solid. Schatz said the Eagles could use more slot depth, especially someone who can help on third downs and short yardage routes. Boyd's a vet. He's experienced. He knows how to get open underneath. He only had 39 catches for 390 yards last year, but remember, he was a key part of the Bengals' offense for years before that. If John Ross now in year 2 with Philly doesn't step up, Boyd could be a smart insurance policy. And look, I won't lie, I don't hate the idea. Just like with Kazir White at linebacker, if you can get a vet for cheap who knows the game and can contribute, you consider it. Right now, the Eagles' WR room behind A.J. Brown, Devonta Smith, and Ross isn't all that deep. So if something goes wrong, Boyd could be a calm, steady option. But he's 30 years old. His best days are behind him. And I personally think Ross has a better shot at being productive as the WR3. So yeah, Boyd wouldn't be a bad signing, but it wouldn't excite me either. Now this. This is exciting. Eagles Super Bowl rings are finally coming. The team is set to receive their championship rings on July 18th, just before training camp kicks off, and I cannot wait to see the design, the diamonds, the celebration. It's going to be a beautiful moment for the whole team to come together one last time before the 2025 grind begins. And a big shout out to a deserving Eagle. Josh Sweat, now with Arizona, just cracked the NFL Top 100 list for the first time ever, landing at #95. Massive congrats to him. He gave it everything for Philly, and it's great to see him finally getting that recognition. No other current Eagles have made the list just yet, but once they do, you know I'll be breaking it all down for you right here. All right, Eagles Nation, I want to hear from you. Should Philly give Reed Blankenship a $45 million extension now? Would you bring in Tyler Boyd for cheap veteran depth? Which Eagles players do you think deserve to make the NFL Top 100? Drop your thoughts in the comments below and let's get the conversation going. If you're fired up for training camp, if you're hyped to see those Super Bowl rings, or if you think the Birds should still make one more move, hit that like button and let me know. Let's ride, Eagles fans. The next chapter is almost here,